Hey everybody, welcome back to Feedback Loop. I'm Jeremy,
And I'm Joey.
and we're talking about music.
Again.
Surprise! This week we got riveting news. We're talking about music. This week we are talking about the album "A 20-Something Fuck" from the artist 2 Feet. It's the album that we listened to over the past week for our Discovery show thingy, because I was feeling some vibes from some of the last couple albums that Joey picked with Ray Brown and Still Woozy. It was kind of in that pocket sort of thing, and I just felt like doing it. I hadn't actually listened to a lot of his stuff, but I'd heard the bigger hits from his collection, and I was like, yeah, I like that sound. I'm down to like pick an album, and this is the one that I chose. He does have a newer one that came out last year, but I hadn't heard as much of it as I'd heard this one, so that's why we did this one. The album art, pretty simple. It's just a photograph of the artist. I don't know his name. I really should know this.
It's Bill something.
Yeah, it's Bill something, and I'm assuming you know that for the same reason I do. So I guess to that end, a mild content disclaimer. There might be some discussion of like suicide and stuff. So if that's a trigger for you, you might want to skip this episode. But we'll get to that when we get there. Here's your opportunity to get away. But the album art is just a photograph of him with some blue lighting on him. It looks like, I don't think it was edited to have blue on him. I think it was just like he was standing next to something that was emitting blue light. You can see in the background, it looks like more kind of neon blue lights happening that might be in a foreign language. I can't really tell if that's what's happening or if it's like light shining through blinds or something on the wall behind him. But,
or if he's just emanates a blue light constantly.
Maybe he's an alien.
Maybe he's only 2 feet tall. That's why he named himself 2 Feet. He's an alien.
And it's he's making bluesy kind of music because he's blue. Dabba dee dabba die.
Oh shit, dude! Full circle.
Full circle.
Back to Eiffel 65. Is that a 65? Is it that?
That sounds like the right numbers. Eiffel something. John would yell at me, but he doesn't listen to our podcast, so he'll never know.
Well, fuck you, John.
But yeah, that is that. With all of that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and get into the album.
Sure.
If we only had some sort of introduction segue that we could use to like intro the album and the track listing.
I think we might, because I think it just happened.
It sure did. Track number 1 is intro. Joey.
Yeah.
What did you? How do you feel about the intro?
Oh, so I feel a little. It feels kind of somber, starting off. I like the vibe of the intro track. It's got something. I have heard plenty of albums start off with a voicemail, but this one does. I like his mixing though.
Yeah.
I looked past the starting off with a voicemail thing, and I do like he starts off with like a lonely high piano key just kind of ringing and piercing through some silence at the beginning, and then it brings in some chords with the phone message, and it's just, I don't know, it adds good ambience, I guess.
Yeah,
a good atmosphere to start the album off with.
It reminds me of something, and I didn't make the connection until you were just talking about it, but it reminds me a bit of the Blue October single that was a huge hit back in the day. Hate Me.
Yeah.
Because he kind of does a similar thing with that song, which I fucking love that song.
Hell yeah.
I love that album. But yeah, that's just a connection that just snapped in my mind.
Yeah. There's a song that Jason Mraz does with, what's his name? James Morrison? I can't remember what it's called. It's whatever song was off that album that got really big back in the day.
I don't know any Jason Mraz, except for the one. Is it a ukulele song? I'm Yours? Is that Jason Mraz?
That's him. And it's the album. That's the album that the song I'm talking about is off of, but I can't exactly remember what it's called right now.
Well, good on you, Jason Mraz, I guess. I don't know if I like you as a musician or person because I know nothing about you. but yeah, I think it's cool. It's just I don't know. It kind of sets the tone, I guess, for the album pretty well. But I also feel like the second track also does that. So I feel like there's kind of a double introduction happening on this album as kind of like an album critique. But yeah, this one's just is a voicemail, presumably from his ex, where she's just kind of like saying like, yeah, like we both knew something was up, so we decided to take a break. And now that we've taken this break, I'm kind of realizing that like maybe we shouldn't get back together. Maybe this is just quits.
Yeah, I feel like this is a two-part intro. Like this is the setup, and then the reaction comes in the next song. Or like this is like I don't know. Like the intro is almost like a prologue, and
Right.
then the next song is like the intro.
Yeah. So he's kind of like you're hearing what she had to say,
Yeah,
and then it's obviously affecting you in some way as an artist, as someone that was in the relationship, and then you get a chance to retort, as you will, and you get to say something in response.
yeah, yeah. And then what you say is that we're gonna start talking about track number two,
Right. So
titled
let's start tracking. Let's start
"Tracking."
talking about track number 2, which is you say.
I honestly, until halfway through that, I didn't understand what was happening, and then I was like,
I mean, that's the way it is with all of our
"It's like, oh
segues.
my god!"
Nobody understands where we're going with anything we're saying until we're there, which makes our segues both fantastic and awful.
Well,
Yeah. So
this
yeah,
one,
you say.
I'll say that's what I'll say. Uh, so it starts off. It's got like some echoey, clean guitar. I like his guitar. I'll just go ahead and
Yeah.
start. Like I like the fact that he is pretty guitar forward in a lot of his
Hmm.
stuff. Uh, it's got like some. There's some heavy effects, but it's not like distortion. He's got like a lot of like reverb and echo, and his
Right.
guitar just sounds very like drippy. But he also plays it in a way that it sounds really like attacky or like clappy or something.
Yeah.
There's a very plucky almost. Uh, but yeah, so he's just got like some echoey clean guitar, and it starts out. It's over like a slow. It's like a slow trap beat
Yeah.
with like
Which
some
is kind of his like aesthetic.
yeah.
That's kind of his style that he's curated. Is kind of like that the big echoey reverby guitar over like some kind of simple-ish trap beat kind of thing.
Well, he's doing it, man. He's
He
doing
is
it. He's doing it right here on this track right now. But
definitely.
this song, like I don't know. I like the synths in the background that sound like a string type thing going
Hmm.
on. He's got a good vibe. I like that he sets it up. I know we had talked about this vocal practice. I think it was in the Chevelle episode, but this song, it's just got three kind of verses or choruses.
Right.
I don't know, but it's the same lines repeated three times.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly which episode we were talking about it in, but
I know.
it works here because of the way that he sets his songs up, or the atmosphere he tries to make with the songs.
Right. Yeah.
Because
As I mentioned in the last one, this is kind of like the musical intro to the
yeah,
album, I suppose, whereas the last one kind of like sets the scene, it sets the context. This is kind of like introducing the musical styling of the album. I think it's kind of slowish. It kind of almost makes me feel drunk. Like I feel like the song is slower than it actually is in some way, where there's kind of this weird distortion happening when I listen to it. I'm not totally crazy about the song, but I
yeah,
think it serves its purpose as kind of an introduction thing. But yeah, the lyrics, like you said, it's just the same thing repeated. He says, "I think that I'm falling now. You said that I'm crazy now. I know you can sleep around. Been dragging you on the ground," which is obviously it seems like his immediate reaction to kind of being dumped by his
yeah,
chick, where there's not a whole lot being said. There's not a lot of depth that we need to analyze, but it's just kind of his gut reaction, I think, to the whole situation.
yeah. Which I mean, it can make you feel like you're drowning whenever you're stuck in that sort of
Oh, for sure.
that
Yeah,
sort
like
of
if you get dumped, it's sad. There's a lot of rain falling down on you, perhaps.
rain
Uh,
from your
uh,
tears.
Rain from your tears, rain that is your tears. That can, like you said, makes you feel like you're drowning. Like track number 3,
I feel like
titled "I Feel Like I'm Drowning."
woo.
This was the lead single for this album. I feel like it got a decent amount of play in various outlets. I don't listen to radio, so I don't know if it got radio play.
Yeah,
And furthermore, I don't think there's a radio station around here that would play this kind of music anyway. So
definitely not. Unless you went across the river, maybe over there
across the
somewhere.
river,
But
yeah,
even then, maybe not. I don't know. I've never heard any of his songs
yeah.
ever in my
He's
life.
I don't know. I don't want to say he's a YouTube artist, but I found him through YouTube.
Yeah,
So, but I guess that's kind of it's kind of weird as a sidebar. I don't want to like spend a lot of time on this, but like that's kind of how a lot of music curation is going now. Like previously, it used to be on the radio, right? You would listen to the radio and you would hear new songs, and then you would look into those artists. But now it's more like, I guess because everything's online and digital and stuff, platforms like YouTube and Spotify and stuff, they curate those playlists for you, and it's just I don't know, it's kind of an interesting culture shift, I
Yeah,
suppose.
definitely. And it seems like it's weird because I mean, you notice I don't listen to too much YouTube music, but like between
Right.
SoundCloud and
Yeah,
uh,
SoundCloud's great at
yeah,
discovering.
yeah, I feel like SoundCloud's good at it. Spotify sometimes is good at it.
Hmm.
And then there was like I don't know what like Apple streaming is like
Right.
what their thing is if they have their
I
own
think it's Apple Music.
Apple Music. Yeah, I've never really like because I don't have Apple
Right.
products, so I don't really know. But it seems like each outlet kind of has a different style or focuses on
That's
a
true.
different thing. Like it seems like Spotify gets a lot of like they do their top 100s and stuff, but they're very much a playlist
Right.
heavy thing. Like they get people to make playlists for them to curate like a mood or an atmosphere. SoundCloud is about like bringing you like who's new, who's gonna be big, who do we think is maybe like this person only has 1,000 people that listen to him, but they're gonna be great or they are great and we really think you'll like them, which I like. I like that, but
Yeah. I'm gonna write this down because I do want to talk about this more in depth. Fuck, I need to find my notepad. But yeah, this was the lead single. This wasn't the first song that I heard from him, but this was one of the other big songs I heard when I discovered him.
mm-hmm.
It's got some like kind of crashing sea wavy intro kind of a thing that it sounds like it's kind of getting a nice kind of cold touch, perhaps. The verses have a pretty simple guitar riff and some like light snapping, kind of like again the simple trap beat kind of deals. And he actually sings a bit more in this one. His
Yeah.
voice has some more emotion in this track, which I really like. I like his voice. He kind of has like he doesn't go all in. Like I don't know. I guess if I'm analyzing the vocalist, something like Corbin has a lot of emotion and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of power that he's putting into it. And this is kind of the other end of the spectrum where there's still a good amount of emotion, but he's not really like belting anything. He's just kind of like singing to himself in a way.
Yeah, like I don't want to say, and he gives off it like I don't want to say he sounds defeated or something, but it
Right.
sounds like he's on the other end of how the emotions are affecting him. Like Corbin, you can tell like I don't know, it's like he's lashing out, like he's in such a state of like I guess depression or
Right.
sadness that he
Pain.
yeah pain that he's like lashing out. Where with 2 feet, it's like he's got the pain, but it's like caused him to retreat inward, so he's more quiet, I guess. But I do like the way that I like the expressiveness of his voice.
Yeah, I mean, which it kind of lends itself well to the context of the album and the music, where like he's clearly upset that he got dumped,
Yeah,
right? But maybe there's some more things going on. I mean, obviously there's some more things going on that we'll talk to.
we'll get
Uh,
into that.
we'll get into that.
Yeah,
But like, I don't know. It sounds like he's sad,
yeah,
and it's I don't know. It's just it's a nice texture to layer onto the music being kind of sad and bluesy. He uses a lot of like bluesy clean guitar licks and stuff that I really like. And then he has these thick synthy basses that he layers on top, and it's kind of a nice compliment
yeah,
in my mind with like just two pleasant sounds. I really like a lot of thick bassy like EDM and trap and dubstep and stuff like that. But I also really like blues rock. I mean, blues rock is a huge part of my upbringing and most people, I guess, in this area. At least if you listen to rock music, you listen to like Led Zeppelin and shit like that, where it's kind of blues inspired rock music. So I kind of like the blend of
yeah.
that with the kind of it's kind of like a merging of worlds, in my opinion.
It's crazy that you say Led Zeppelin because I was literally about to bring up Led Zeppelin because the chord progression in like the chorus of this song is
Mhm.
like that slow descending where it's going down like a half
Yes.
step each time, and it's makes me think of "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You,"
Yeah.
where it's got that baby, like the song's just going like dun, like and then down a half step. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But
If you have not listened to "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You" by Led Zeppelin, stop this episode, pause it, come back to it, go listen to that song, because that's a fantastic song by a fantastic band.
exactly, and this song is like what I would imagine somebody writing nowadays. If like somebody was going to write that song now, they would do it like this way, and that's kind of just where my head went whenever I was listening to it.
Well, I'm glad we both made some Led Zeppelin. I didn't actually call out Led Zeppelin in my notes, but I mean they're kind of like the forefathers of that kind of like blues rock kind of a thing, and especially like Jimmy Page is a fantastic guitarist at writing a lot of like really clean sounding blues licks. And while this isn't exactly the same style of guitar playing as in Led Zeppelin, there's definitely it's they're in the same ballpark, I think.
Man, you're gonna get so much heat for that.
I'm not. I'm definitely not saying that 2 Feet is as good of a guitarist as Jimmy Page. Just to be clear, I fucking love Jimmy Page. He's a goddamn legend. He's a guitar hero. 2 Feet is not that, but they're both in the bluesy kind of lick based music, I guess. Bring on the hate. Leave us some comments.
Talking about the lyrics really quick, okay?
Yeah. Anyways, lyrics. It's a bit of a hate track. He's talking shit about his ex.
Yeah,
is what it seems to me. Where she seems like she's fake and doesn't have a lot of personality.
Yeah. See, I didn't know if I was going to try to go with like a through line, like telling a story until about halfway through the song, where this song was going to be from another person's point of view talking about him, but then I just couldn't spin it that way. So yeah, it's just talking about like somebody being in a toxic relationship with a toxic person, being like, I'm gonna get out of here. You're not like, this is not working at all. I don't know what the fuck's going on with your life, but you need to stop being the way you're being, and I'm gonna get out of here before you take me down with you.
At least that's the plan. This album is that's kind of like the root of this album, I think, is him kind of realizing that he has toxic relationships or a toxic relationship with another person and trying to break out of that kind of thing, which I think everyone should. I think if you are in a position where there is a toxic element of your relationship, absolutely try to get the fuck out of it, because you're worth more than that. You don't have to deal with someone that is constantly just putting you down or making you feel like shit. Like this song, he feels like he's drowning when he's near them or around them, because like it's just such an overwhelming like put down, I guess, of a person just putting a drain on them. And if someone makes you feel like that, get the fuck out.
And also, don't be that person. Like, try to have some Try to have some self-awareness and be like, maybe I shouldn't be such a fucking dickbag all the time. Like, just a little bit of the time's fine, because everybody is a little bit, but all the time, no. Don't do that.
And it's bad because, like, I don't know, it makes 2 Feet again. Bill, I guess, is his name. It makes him kind of like he's a very inward person, like we talked about with his vocals. It seems very like sedated and chilled, and so his response to maybe as a musician to that kind of influence is to maybe he just feels like playing guitar and not singing, because he doesn't have the confidence to sing as much or as loudly or as prominently.
And like, I'd kind of be okay with that, because given his music, like his styling so far, not that he would feel that way, but if he wanted to just like, if he just felt like playing guitar and not singing, I'd be fine with whatever music came out of that, because then it would maybe end up sounding something like track 4 on this album.
What's track 4 called?
Felt like playing guitar and not singing.
Oh shit!
Oh, hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, this one, I really like this track.
Hey, me too.
First of all, it's I mean, it says what it does on the tin, right? Felt like playing guitar and not singing, where it's just kind of him. He's not really like improvising or like freestyling on guitar kind of a thing, but he wrote a song without vocals on it, and he wanted to release it as it is, and it's as a result of that, it's mostly just this kind of guitar and a beat under it with some like ambient noise for texture. The song builds up a lot. It kind of reminded me of like how a lot of house music is kind of structured where it just like slowly adds a new layer every few bars.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's something added to the beat or something added to the guitars that just kind of like, I don't know, it hits a nice groove about 1 minute in. It gives a chill beach vibe, kind of like a surfy kind of vibe to it. And then at 1:20, it kind of hits the chorus, I guess, of the song, which is kind of hard to define, seeing as there's no lyrics. But it kind of hits the prominent arc of the song, I think, and it kind of brings in his signature sounding like thick bass and stuff. And he's just kind of playing his guitar to it. He's just soloing away. It's nothing like crazy fast or like super like mind melting kind of a thing, but it feels good. It's very chill, and I think modern music needs more guitar solos. So
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And it's like you said, it's nothing like insane or anything, but it's just like he's got a bluesy style. It's nice to have a little blues solo. Like it's
Agreed.
just something. Maybe I'm just too far out of the loop, but there's living where we're living. I hear, or at least back whenever I could go places and hear like more amateur bands,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like everybody from the area just plays the same type of blues that
Yeah,
hasn't been updated in like 20 years. And it's nice to hear a blues solo with some updated stuff going
agreed.
on. And yeah, this was my favorite track off of the first half of the album. Why I'm dividing the albums into halves arbitrarily, like I don't know, but it's my
Well,
favorite
this is the
song.
halfway point in the album.
Yeah, so it's my favorite song so far, I guess, is what
Interesting.
yeah.
So that's implying that there is another song on the second half that you would also classify as a favorite song.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to get there and
Well,
find out.
to get there, I hope we don't have to hurt people along the way.
I mean, we'll probably hurt people no matter what. You already hurt people with that Led Zeppelin comparison. So
Look, we've been over this. Comparing artists doesn't necessarily mean that you're placing them on the same level of skill.
I know that, and you know that, but they don't know that, Jeremy.
They just get hurt. I hurt people with my comments,
Yeah.
and people hurt people when they are hurt tend to hurt other people. So there's kind of this rippling wave effect that is talked about in track number 5, I think.
Wait a second.
Hurt people.
Okay. I was getting really confused on what you were saying because you said the words "hurt" and "people" so many times.
Track number 5 is "Hurt People." It was the segue that never ended, as we do. And also, if you haven't clicked away, this is, I believe, the song.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that has the kind of suicide content. So if you stuck around this far and you're having second thoughts, maybe back out now.
Or just stick your fingers in your ears, unless you're
La,
wearing
la, la, la.
yeah, unless you're wearing headphones. Then probably don't do that because that'll just make it louder.
It's true. Well, I mean,
If you're wearing earbuds,
if you're earbuds, yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a second to understand that the content because I don't use earbuds ever. But
Yeah, me either. Ew, earbuds. Ew.
earbuds, gross.
Fucking
hurt
disgusting.
people. And I guess we'll go ahead and talk about it because we've built it up so much at this point, which, not that we're trying to, what's the word, glorify or make it sensationalize, I guess.
There
is the
you
word I
go.
was looking for. Not trying to sensationalize it or anything, but he released this song the same day that he attempted to kill himself, which is fucked up. He tweeted, he was saying goodbyes on Twitter, I think. I didn't really look into the story too much, but I think he was saying goodbyes and telling his friends some shit on Twitter. And he said that "Hurt People" is a song I needed to make. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to my lyrics. Re-listen to that song. It's new. My fans who know me have heard it. Other people need to hear it. Listen to the lyrics of "Hurt People." I want to live. And the same day he tried to kill himself, which kind of seems counter to what he was saying.
Yeah.
But it also isn't, because I don't know, someone that's in that mindset of like when they're at such a low that they would attempt something like that, and I'm probably going to offend people because there's no clean, happy way to talk about suicide, but I feel like people that are in that kind of mindset, they're not doing so necessarily out of like pity or out of anger or something. It's that they're obviously not happy with their life and they want to have a better option than living their life because their life isn't doing it, and they feel like they don't have control over that. They want to live, but living is maybe too much for them, or they feel like they've wasted their attempt at living, and they don't see another way out. Which is
Man,
sad.
yeah, it is. It is sad, but existing is exhausting, and it just gets to people. Like I want to say that like there's a part of me that wants to be like life is sacred, and it's why would you do
Right.
that? But I have enough wherewithal. I've lived on this earth long enough to know that it's
Yeah,
bullshit. Like that's
for
complete and
sure.
total bullshit. Like sometimes life is just way, way, way too much, and
Right.
you're like, maybe if I just do this, I won't have to ever feel any pain ever again for the rest of my life.
Right.
But
Because you won't
it's
have a life.
yeah, exactly. And that's the other side where it's
Yeah,
like,
that's the other side
okay,
of the coin.
I will also literally never feel anything good ever again because I
Yeah.
won't ever feel anything ever again. And man,
It's fucked up.
it makes me
If you are struggling in such ways, please don't kill yourself. First of all,
yeah,
I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the shitty person that is toxic to someone else. Don't kill yourself.
yeah.
If you're having this kind of epiphany that you're a toxic person, don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. You can
It's much
change.
yeah, it's much better to just be a better person if you're that person.
Right.
Like I mean, I'm not gonna tell somebody who's just straight up a good person and is also suicidal be a better person. Come on.
Right. Yeah. No. No. Absolutely not. But there are alternatives
Yeah.
that will benefit you, and it will benefit society. Like, I mean, it's insane that to think, and maybe this is just my perspective on it, but it's insane. It's insane to think of an artist specifically committing suicide or dying, and it happens so often,
Yeah.
and which doesn't help, I think. But like, there's so much good that comes from creating, right? Creative people put themselves out there in front of everyone and say, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I'm expressing myself. And the fact that they do that and then so often get overwhelmed with it, or get overwhelmed with other things, and they decide to stop that, to stop sharing themselves in the most extreme way, it's sad. Because if 2 Feet had succeeded, right, he would not have released an album last year. And that is sad to me, because the world needs more music, and I like his music. So I think it's good that he's still here to keep making music. And I guess that's a very selfish thing to say, but
But
it's
it
I don't know.
I mean, it proves though that there's always somebody like because it's so easy to whenever you're in the position that he was in. If somebody's like, but think of the people who love you, or think of the people
Right.
who whatever, and you're like, bullshit, like whatever. I don't know, like that. I don't have those people, or they don't. They'd be better off, or what? You convince yourselves of these things, but then to you're somebody like you who's like, I would greatly benefit from or like I greatly benefited from the album that he put out, or I like the music, or whatever little joy, like.
Right.
And at a certain point, it does sound like, well, what if you're just living for other people? It's like, but that's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of,
You have to have a reason.
yeah,
Right.
like it's kind of just like society, or we're all in this together, or whatever those like things you see on motivational posters say.
Hang in
Like,
there.
yeah, heck yeah, that's cruel. But uh, like I don't know, it's good to share yourself. It's sharing your experience with other people through, especially through music,
Right.
can do a ton of good. And I mean, sharing this song, sharing not to say that it normalizes these feelings, but it lets people know that it's not you're
That they're
not
not alone.
yeah, you're not alone. And I mean, in his case, he ended up attempting it, but it's you're not always too far gone, no matter how
Right.
far gone you think you are, I
And
guess.
I hope that he's in a better place now. I hope that Bill is okay, and I hope that he's going to continue to improve, both as a musician and just as an emotional being,
Yeah,
right? To kind of help control those things,
yeah,
because as we've said several times in the past 10 minutes, like, it's not worth it. Stay alive, take care of yourself, take care of you in all aspects, both physically and mentally and emotionally and stuff like that, because You ending your life is just hurting people, and hurt people, as the song
Yeah.
says.
And you're hurting yourself, literally and figuratively,
Indeed.
because
But
there's yeah. We'll talk about the music
we're
now.
gonna get back to the content here. So hurt people. It's a very poppy kind of radio friendly song, I think, musically at the very least, which is kind
Yeah,
of an interesting contrast to the fact that he wrote this song and released it and then tried to kill himself. But it has a female vocalist named Madison Love, which immediately gets my attention because I love poppy female vocals for some reason. But she has very very nice melodies and a very clean voice. There's a bit of a trappy beat that comes in with some big brass stabs, and I've mentioned this a handful of times. I think that I really enjoy those kind of big, low, bassy brass kind of stabs that come in. Um, the chorus in this, it's kind of strange to me that the chorus is much more stripped down musically than the verses. Like the verses have so much more going on musically
yeah,
than the choruses, when it's usually kind of the opposite, especially in a lot of pop songs. But then you get this bluesy guitar solo that comes in before the second verse, after the second chorus, and it's fantastic. I love it. And then they come together and do like a duet thing at the end where they're both singing it together, which isn't, I guess, technically a duet. Well, I guess technically it's a duet because there's two people singing at once. But I don't know. It's a nice melding because in the rest of the song, it's she does the chorus, he does the verse, and it alternates, and then they both come together to do like a final chorus kind of a thing together. And it's just, I don't know. It's a nice melding.
yeah. I whenever I was listening to it, I saw the differences. I don't know, because the name of the next song kind
Mm-hmm.
of, where you talked about the fact that this sounds more poppy and everything,
Right.
given its subject matter, it kind of like, whenever I was looking through the track listing, listening to this song, it like, the next song made me think that he's intentionally like trying to be like, this is my pop song, like
Right.
this is the song that, I don't know, means a lot to him. It's he wants it out there, and it's just so much anti a pop song, I guess.
Yeah.
that he's doing it just like, yeah, this is what you're gonna listen to. But he it seems like her vocals are more focused, where there's less music in the background or less harsh music in the background. It's talking more just generally about the emotions related to it, like
Yeah.
talking about hurt people and why are they used to the pain and that. And then it gets really gritty with his, because like a trap beat comes in, his voice is a little like harsher in this song,
Yeah.
and he's just talking about all the shit that he's done, like how sick he feels. Why can't he just be open? Why does he push people away? He's been thinking about killing himself, and like just all
Yeah.
of this extremely dark stuff. And it just goes back to the chorus where it's kind of like her breathy tip, like female poppy vocals,
Yeah.
and then back, it's just like the dichotomy of, that's the part I like about this song.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that goes right along with like how I said that the choruses were more stripped down because it's her, Madison Love, singing very cleanly over like a very simple melody in the background or whatever, and then he comes in with the verses, and it's a totally different story. So yeah, I definitely like that comparison. I do think it's kind of strange, not strange. I guess it doesn't make sense necessarily to me, but he's talking about how he pushes other people away so that they don't get hurt by him because he feels like he's maybe being a toxic person, or because he's hurting and he doesn't want to hurt other people because hurt people, whatever. But in doing so, that's also hurting them, right? If you're just pushing people away to quote unquote protect them from you, from yourself, like it's noble. I understand the intention, but it's not necessarily the right course of action, especially if you're hurting. Pushing other people away is not going to help you not hurt. And I think, especially in this, maybe not in this situation specifically, but under these circumstances, having more people closer to you is the best way to get out of that hurt, because people want to support you, people want to help you through your shit.
Yeah, like kind of in my head canon of this song, he's realizing that he's becoming a person that is like the person he wrote about in, I felt like
Yeah.
drowning. Like, not that he's, I mean, nothing in the song specifically seems to point to him actually being like that toxic of a person
Right,
in a
but he
relationship.
thinks he is.
Yeah, and he's like pushing people away and trying, like, he's like, I've known that in my own relationships, and I don't want to be. I'm hurt, and if hurt people hurt other people, I'm pushing them away, even though
Right.
I need them.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
Yeah,
Let people help you. If you are struggling with suicide or depression or whatever, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for company. You know, I mean, obviously right now is kind of extreme times, but it's just knowing that someone is there for you can change your entire like perspective, and it's always good to have someone, even if they can't do anything to fix you, quote unquote. They can just them being there and offering to do whatever they can to help is just it's a warm, comforting thing that I think uh, it's I don't know. I feel like it's so common to push those people away when you're hurting, right? Like he's
yeah,
talking about in this song, but like you shouldn't. You should absolutely just like try your best to surround yourself with people that want to help you get better.
yeah, and try to help other people get better, because then it kind of turns around. Like,
It's true. You
I don't
maybe
know.
can find purpose for yourself if you're lacking that kind of directive or whatever. Maybe you can find that purpose in helping other people get through the shit that you're going through, and then it'll be just kind of like a symbiotic relationship of people helping people to get through it, because helped people help people.
Oh my god, ain't
uh,
that some shit?
but yeah, I don't have a segue. We're gonna move on to the next track, because I feel like we spent like 20 minutes on this one track.
We did.
But track number 6, not a radio song, as Joy mentioned. This one starts off with some like spacey guitar arpeggio kind of things with some ahs going on in the background, just kind of some vocal sampling kind of bits going through. 30 seconds in though, he kind of counts in a beat, and it kind of gets this like it's upbeat. It's almost like a funk guitar kind of
Yeah,
rhythm going on.
I
And then
got a beachy vibe.
yeah,
Like,
it's definitely like summer like western kind of like not really surf rock per se,
yeah,
but
no,
kind of like islandy, I guess.
yeah.
But then it comes and it goes very quickly. It's a pretty short song.
Yeah, this song's like a minute and a half long,
Yeah,
which, you know, that's been a thing lately. Like, other than the Chevelle album, like with
we have been
Ray,
doing a lot of like short song albums.
yeah, with Ray Brown and Still Woozy. It's, which, I mean, I guess that fits with, if
That's true.
their vibes led you to this album, that kind of tracks.
Yeah, that was not my intention, but yeah, that maybe subconsciously it was. But yeah, lyrically, this one I the feeling I get from his lyrics is that he's saying that love isn't permanent, so who cares if we break up? I just need to find someone else to love me. Kind of just like this, not really like animal instinct kind of thing, but just like acknowledging that, like, yeah, it happens. Breakups happen. Whatever. Let's not dwell on it. Let's just have fun while we can, kind of a thing.
Yeah, I saw this as the aftermath of the last song where he's talking about pushing all these people away that are trying to be close to him, and
Mhm.
then at this point he's talking about how love doesn't. He's kind of dismissing it as just an idea, and
Right.
he's talking about just needing another lover, instead of, like, he's trying to get people to fill the void that he's created by pushing the people who are trying to get close to him away.
Yeah, he's pushed everyone away, and now he needs distractions,
Yeah.
or he's turning to distractions at least to try to like keep himself off the fact that he's pushed everyone away.
Come on, man.
But always in the back of his mind, he's gonna be thinking about the people he pushed away and trying not to think about them, but they're always gonna be lingering there in the back of his mind.
Yeah, you know what's in the back of my mind? Track number 7.
Just titled "Back of My Mind."
And now it's in the front of my mind because we're talking about it.
That's how that works, because brains don't actually work like that. But you
Yeah,
know,
no, they don't. But minds do. Minds are different than
yeah,
brains.
that's true. That's true. It's more of a metaphorical kind of deal when you're bringing things to the front.
Boom.
So
So his voice at the beginning of this song, it reminds me of one of the guys from 303, but I don't know if that's me misremembering how they sound, or
I don't know. I feel like that might be a valid comparison.
it's
I don't.
just
I
his
haven't
voice,
listened
though.
to. Yeah, I haven't listened to a lot of 303. So
I haven't either, except for the one album where they had the golden hands on the front of it. I
don't
can't
know
remember what it was called. I feel like it was like California something, but
I think the only song I've ever heard by 303 is the what's it called? Don't Trust a Hoe.
I think it might have.
Trust a Hoe.
Don't. That's that. No, it was don't.
Don't trust a hoe. Don't trust me. Something like
No,
that.
because a hoe won't trust me. That's
Because a hoe won't trust me. Yeah. See, I don't even know the fucking hook of the song that I've heard. But,
Yeah.
that's how out of touch with them I am.
Oh my god, that was such a long time ago.
That was probably like 2009.
Oh my god.
2008, maybe.
Dude, 303 was just on a remix of Friday with Dory and
really?
Electra. Yeah. And, I mean, Rebecca Black. And somebody else that I don't remember her name.
We'll talk about that after, because that's not here. We're not talking about 303. We're talking about 2 Feet. But yeah, maybe he sounds like one of the guys from 303.
Maybe.
I can't make that claim because I don't know a damn thing.
I shouldn't make that claim, but I did.
Well, you already did, so keep on talking.
But yeah, so I mean, I like his voice. I listened to that whole album from 303. That just it wasn't meant to be a jab. It just was something I thought about. But the song, it gets a really like watery feel whenever kind of the plucky guitar comes in. I mean, the bass is super heavy, like pulsing throughout the entire song, and it's just a very like head boppy type song. Like it makes me want to. I'm bopping my head right now. If you all can't see,
they cannot, because we are not recording video.
Ah, shit! But I like the music in this song a lot. The only thing I have any qualms about is around 2 minutes. He throws in some of those like hand claps, like and it's just for like a second, like a literal second. But whenever I heard them, I was like, "What?" And just as soon as they came, they were gone, and I was like, "What? What just happened?"
just a little splash claps.
And I was just like, "Where did that come from, and where did it go?"
But yeah, overall, this one like seems, at least from my experience, to be one of the more like quintessential 2 Feet sounding tracks, with like the clean bluesy guitar licks, the really thick kind of electronic bass that you mentioned, kind of synth beats and stuff like that. Like this is very much his style of music, which is, it's kind of nice that he kind of like, I guess he doesn't stick to that style as often as I'm making it seem, I guess, because I haven't listened to a lot of his lyrics or a lot of his songs. I mean, but the ones that I tend to favor are kind of this. So maybe this is just the style that he does that I like, but it's kind of good, I guess, in ways that he doesn't just stick to the same kind of formula, and that he kind of like allows himself to experiment from track to track, and then kind of still brings it back in every now and then, just because he probably likes it as well. But I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. So as long as I like it, then I mean,
that's all that matters to you.
That's all that. Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters to me. As long as I like it, I'll listen to it, and if I don't, then whatever.
Lyrically, this one, it seemed like it was further developing the struggle with a toxic relationship that we mentioned a couple times throughout the album, where he feels like he's better without them, but there's something in the back of his mind that's still dwelling on them, and he wants to still like spend time with them, even though he knows it's a bad idea, and he feels better when he's not doing that.
Yeah, it's like the addiction type feeling where when you're in a relation, I guess it was last episode I had said something about like the extreme breakups that are like over the top, and usually those come at the end of these types of relationships. And you always see people in those types of relationships getting back together because, and this is the reason people who need to take some sort of emotional stabilizing medication never take their medication. And it's because it is the human condition to always trade some sense of calm, semi-stability, if it is lesser, for the high, wild extremes of like a crazy relationship, at least till you get to a certain point. But it's like, I mean, it's like the people that don't take medication when they should, like I said, like it's you would much rather feel insanely good and have to pay for it by feeling insanely bad, or at least that's what you're used to. Like
Nobody wants a boring middle of the road path.
Exactly, but that's what life is. It's just the boring middle of the road. But yeah, it's I don't know. Like that's kind of the vibe that I get from the relationship in this, where he's like, I don't know, you could conflate it to like being addicted to smoking cigarettes, where you're like walking down the street and you're like, I'm doing so fine, I feel great, it's amazing, everything's great, and then you see like a gas station, and in your head you're like, I would have gone in there and bought some, and then you keep walking a little bit more, and you're like,
I'm gonna go back and buy some cigarettes.
No, you up until the moment that your feet turn, you're convinced. You're like, I'm not doing this, and then all of a sudden, it's like your body takes over, and you're just like, boom.
Yeah. I wouldn't know. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. Healthy lungs, humble brag.
Ah, shit, man.
I don't know if I have healthy lungs per se. I've inhaled a lot of secondhand, but
well, that's my own. I don't know. The jury's out on that, kind of, except it's kind of not, but,
Well, it's the same old song.
Yeah, part one.
Part one. I don't know why it's called part one. I don't think there's a part two. Track number 8 is what we were discussing. It is called Same Old Song, SOS Part 1.
Yeah.
In parentheses.
Dude, that wompy synth, though. Like
it's pretty wompy.
It's got some wompy synths.
Yeah, he brings back those like low brass stabs too, which just adds to the womp. And he has a descending chord progression, like you called out at the beginning. Yeah. It's kind of dark and ominous in this track, but it's just, I don't know. It's there's kind of a dichotomy where like the music is so like dark and wompy and ominous, but he's still playing his guitar, which is very clean and very like picky, I guess, like you said, and it just kind of floats around, and it's just smooth in contrast.
Yeah, he does have some pretty smooth guitar. Like it's very, I don't know. I guess it gets really like bright.
Yeah.
Is a word that I can say to describe that sound.
It is an adjective to describe sounds.
But I feel like with all the horns, especially the descending chord progression with the horns, that kind of calls back again to "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You." I mean, I know there's plenty of other songs that do that. That's
babe.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave you.
We need to talk about a Led Zeppelin album sometime.
I think we need to take that out of our video because we are such good
singers. We're going to get
copyright strike.
Fuck it, we're not getting ad revenue anyway.
That's true. We already did get copyright strike.
We've used literal samples of songs, so whatever.
But yeah, so like it's a good ending to the song or to the album because of how like big and boisterous parts of it are. But I mean, like it cuts in with his guitar, but I feel like it's a fitting big end to the album.
It is a pretty dang good ending. Lyrically, there's not a whole lot going on in this one. It's another one of those kind of simple thing where you just sing the same line over and over again.
Yeah.
And it kind of like he's saying that he sings the same old song and asking if his girlfriend or ex or whatever can sing along with him, which is kind of tying in the whole theme of being stuck in a cycle with it, where he's like, if the last song was like he's realizing that he still needs them, he needs that kind of drive or that kind of addiction kind of feeling, this is the one where he's back in it and he's like, hey, like I'm back, we're doing this thing again, we're gonna keep making the same fucking mistake over and over again because I need it in my life, kind of a thing.
Poor dude. Poor anybody that's, I mean, not poor anybody, like I guess it's a sucky situation. Yeah, just poor everybody. Like, not even people that are in this situation. Poor everybody.
Yeah, but existing's exhausting, like you said.
Yeah, it's that feeling whenever you're just sitting there and you're like, why is it just hard to breathe all the time? I feel like I'm just out of breath. I have no energy. All I've been doing is sitting here.
Joey, I just lost you.
Yet somehow this cosmic joke that I've been placed into is
You're back. I lost you for a second.
Oh, okay. I thought you just meant like you're back in that depression that I knew you whenever I met you.
No,
you're back there.
The cut out. We're gonna wrap this up quickly because Joey's internet's being fucking now, and I'm scared that we're gonna lose it.
Okay, see ya.
Just like that. Bye. But no, like overall, what do you think about the album?
Overall, I like the album. Like it was what I wanted to listen to this week, and listening to it actually made my decision for next week's album pretty hard, but I decided to go in a different direction. But
okay, well, what direction did we go? What are we listening to this week?
We're listening to the album Horse Jumper of Love by the band Horse Jumper of Love. I tried to say both of them in the same.
No, it's fine. I'm going to edit it to where I'm going to cut out you saying it the first time and paste it over the second time. So it'll be exactly the same.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a little.
It's a cool album.
It's got some slow stuff. It's got some faster stuff. Kind of. It's kind of indie.
Does it have horse jumping songs?
You know, it has. It's gonna be exactly like Hold Your Horse is.
No, boy. Is Zach Hill involved at all?
He is super involved. No, he's not at all.
Well, maybe I'll hate this a little bit less than that one then.
Wouldn't that be sick?
I mean, if I just hate each album you introduce me to a little bit less every time, eventually we'll get somewhere good, right?
Yeah, eventually.
It's not this week. It's not next week, hopefully. Well, wait, that seems to imply that I want it to be a shitty album, and I don't want that. I don't fucking know. Listen to the album with us. We're going to be listening to it this week. Yeah. Hopefully I love it. Hopefully Joey loves it. I mean, I guess Joey at least likes it if he's sharing it. But yeah, we'll fucking talk about that next week, as we do on this podcast every week, called Feedback Loop.
Forever.
Leave us some comments if you have gripes with how shitty we recorded this episode while we got off on tangents way too often and spent 30 minutes talking about one song. And whatnot, or just our constant referencing of Led Zeppelin. I mean, if you hate what you heard, let us know. If you love what you heard, awesome. Let us know that as well, because morale's a real thing that we need to balance. But yeah, fuck it. Until next week, stay in our feedback.
See ya.